Madness Portrayal in William Shakespeare's King Lear play. Literary critics have often commented that William Shakespeare developed the plot of his play King Lear based on Lear, an aged king of ancient Britain. Analyzing Shakespeare's plays, one can witness that many of the Shakespearean characters suffered from the adversities of madness or severe psychological frustration. One can unearth several instances in Shakespeare's plays, such as the madness of Lear in King Lear, and the depression of Lady Macbeth in Macbeth. Men of sin are frustrated with unsound minds, and Constance's depression resulted in madness. Lear's madness constitutes an unusual emotional explosion that leads the readers to the zenith of purification or catharsis. The theme of madness is discovered throughout the play in various ways, and the audience can find numerous forms of madness in the third act of the play. The portrayal of madness plays a vital role in William Shakespeare's play King Lear, and it is explained in different ways. It also discloses the secrets of human nature and the influence of time and traditions. Shakespeare portrays King Lear in Act 3 of the play as a man of extreme arrogance and egoism. The initial stage of Lear's madness is visible through his strange conversations and the destruction of his clothes. With a state of mental depression and unsound mind, Lear cries, "You sulphurous and thought-executing fires, vaunt couriers to cleaving thunderbolts, singe my white head." The theme of madness is portrayed through the characters of Edgar, Earl of Kent, the Fool, and King Lear in the play William Shakespeare's King Lear. Critics have different opinions on the madness of Lear, and some of them believe that the symptoms of Lear's madness are revealed at the beginning of the play. At the end of the second act, the reader can see that after leaving Gloucester's castle, Lear drives into real madness. He meanders without direction in the heavy storm. Shakespeare reveals his extraordinary craftsmanship through the presentation of both storm and nature and the emotional storm in King Lear's head. Injustice and ill-treatment on the part of his older daughters affect Lear's mind, thus frustrating his emotional state. The causes of Lear's madness are many and varied. Refusal and ill-treatment of his elder daughters, tenderness of the younger daughter Cordelia, excessive revenge against his enemies, and the realization of his mistakes contributed to an unsound mind. In the fourth act, Lear's madness reaches its zenith, and the reader can see that Lear is walking naked. He is not aware of his nakedness. His long hair and bulging eyes reveal extreme fear and pain. The death of his younger daughter Cordelia also contributed to Lear's misbalanced emotional state, as he feels guilty about this accident. His sufferings and feeling of remorse are converted into nightmares where Cordelia persecutes his father as if blaming him for her death. In the play, King Lear, being emotionally unstable, is compared with other characters like Kent, Fool, and Edgar. The important role of Lear is not only of a mad one. The character also embodies intelligence and nobility. At the same time, the Fool, another character disclosing madness, communicates with others with a sense covered by foolishness. His madness carries out several times like a child's fury in this play by Shakespeare. Lear's intimacy with his daughters provokes uncertainty by creating a crisis similar to an ordinary man. Goneril and Regan, two daughters of Lear, are characters with some psychic problems. At the same time, they together were against their father, thus struggling for Edmund. The Fool is not a regular personality in this play. He represents foolishness, and his words give insight into the behavior of the king. The words of the Fool reveal his logical state of mind, but he acts like a madman in the play with other mad characters. Ken has a different demeanor with great intimacy towards the central character King Lear. His pieces of advice are rejected by the king and barred from the master so that anyone can continue this situation with regard. It is clear to a reader that Kent's extreme loyalty and intimacy towards Lear leads him to a state of unsound mind. Shakespeare's play presents the main character being driven to madness by the lack of gratitude expressed by his daughters. He also represents a solid predisposition to the disease that is dramatically developed under the influence of exciting causes. In the plays, Lear is not depicted as a noble king guided by rational principles of justice. Instead, he is represented as a man of hot temper with generous and strong impulses that are discouraged by the greatest endowment. The king is also frustrated by the unexpected behavior of his elder daughters, who betray him for the sake of ignoble goals. King Lear's madness is also explained by his inability to comprehend the essence of human relations and to espy actual life. As a result, Lear is frustrated by Cordelia's response, "Unhappy that I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond, no more, no less." The kind fails to recognize the real love in Cordelia's confession and drives her crazy. Her denial to flatter his father, the youngest daughter refuses to make a false declaration to gain her father's wealth. At the end of the novel, Lear, already driven to madness, concludes that people do not differ from animals that are more concerned with material rather than moral welfare. This is why in the final scene, the king cries out, "Oh, reason not the need. Our basest beggars are in the poorest things superfluous. Allow not nature more than nature needs, man's life is cheap as beasts." Father is unable to realize his daughter's horrible betrayal. To conclude, William Shakespeare's play King Lear demonstrates the theme of madness differently. The madness of King Lear is the major one and it controls the development of the entire plot. Other characters like Kent, Fool, Edgar, and Lear's older daughters also reveal some signs of madness. Earl of Kent's extreme loyalty and passion for Lear's older daughter towards Edmund gives clear examples of madness. Lear's anger and revenge lead to frustration and severe mental depression. The madness of King Lear explores the realization of his mistakes, and the reader can see that the madness of King Lear constitutes pity and fear in the mind of the audience. Finally, the king's emotional instability is also the result of his incapability to distinguish between empty flattering and actual love revealed by his daughters.